Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3 back with another kicking action figure review. Today we're reviewing a pretty recent Marvel Legend. It is the Walgreens exclusive Sentry. 10,000 Exploding Suns or whatever. He's actually one of my favorite Marvel characters. The original Marvel Knights Sentry comic changed the way I think about superheroes and the supervillains. Magnificent work. And he's been my favorite larger-than-life Marvel character ever since. That's right. Fuck Iron Man. No monetization. Said it too soon. But, also, I'm not monetized anyway. So, I had to get Bob Reynolds here. He is really nice. He's a nice updated version. The last one was supposed to be a variant of a Hyperion figure, and then he wasn't released, and then he was released in like the King Thor Odin Build-A-Figure wave, and I love that figure still, to be completely honest with you. I'm not going to get rid of it now that I have this guy. I want to keep them both. I actually almost want a second version of this guy. And I'll show you why later. But he's definitely updated pretty well. I think the head sculpt is pretty magnificent. It's got a nice wash in the hair. I like how it's kind of gentle, breezy flowing. And he's got the dark circles under his eyes. I think that goes a long way, especially on the Sentry. With the way it's lit, you might not be able to see him very well, but they're there. This cape, I think, is original. I haven't seen this cape on any other Marvel Legends, to my knowledge, which is good. It stays on much better than the previous Sentry cape and looks better. They tried to do a glow effect on his belt. It looks okay. I mean, you remember when they tried that with the big-time Spider-Man figure and it looks terrible? It's nothing like that. It's more subtle. It's all right. This yellow is kind of blinding, but I guess that works out. You know, there's no wash or anything on it, but that, I mean, he is supposed to kind of glow a little, so I guess it makes sense. Ooh, a glow-in-the-dark Sentry figure. That'd be cool. I'd buy it. I'll buy any Sentry. You make a Sentry, I'm gonna get it. That's just a fact, folks. It's a fact. But yeah, there's no wash on the cape or anything either. It's really, you see the color, you get it. But he's got like some veins in the arms and stuff. Do these look like they poke out a little far, his arms? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky. Anyway, we got side to side on the head. The hair doesn't hinder as much as it looks like it would, but it does hinder. But you can still get him side to side plenty. Down, he doesn't look up terribly far because of the long hair. But I mean, if you kind of tilt the torso up, you can kind of help it out. But I wish you could look up farther. But long-haired Sentry is the preferred look by me and most, so you have up and down on the arm. You know, nice rotation. The cape doesn't hinder that. You can do it just fine. You know, you got a swivel there. Double bicep, forward and back on the wrist with a rotation. Ab crunch. And you see you've got a little detail up in there, but not 100% all the way. It's pretty far forward and back. Probably a little farther than the last one. I don't know, he's kind of in a storage box over on the other side of the room. When you expect me to go to the other side of the room? You know, he's got a good waist, but his belt doesn't move with it, so it just kind of gets pushed around. So, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of that. But what you gonna do? You've kind of got in and out on the legs. They should definitely go out further than that. That's not very far. Yeah. Oh, the other one... that one's even worse. Yeah, it seems like they should go a little further. I don't know, he's real rubbery. He's got forward, and there's not... you have to pull it to the side to go back, so it's not really super back. But, oh, he has a tiny little bussy. Oh, okay, that's why his works better. I guess if it's covered by the cape, you can do that. His legs go back better than a lot of Hasbro figures. I mean, look at Space Venom's thick-ass bussy. Compare that. Look at that tiny bus. That's not even a bus. That's a coot. Can you say coot on YouTube? I hope so. So, I mean, the in and out is worse, but the back is better. Just because he has no butt. You have a thigh swivel. Double knee bend as expected. Really rubbery though. You have a rotation on the feetsies, ankle pivot, and up and down. So his articulation is pretty basic. They've been given a lot of other figures some better articulation. But usually, if you want a figure to have better articulation, it'll probably be one that's in kind of the retro-y packaging. I don't understand that. Also, it'll probably be a Spider-Man. That's who they give all the best stuff to, is Spider-Man and his adjacent characters. So, the head sculpt is really good, and the rest of the body is good, but not, like, mind-blowing or anything. The articulation is exactly what you would expect. Now what we need is sizing. Huh? Here he is with the Marvel Legends Thundra. Probably haven't seen her in a while. I was thinking of selling her, which is why I had her out. But then I was rereading Jeff Loeb Hulk, and god dang it, I really like her. Also, I did tease you with that Space Venom, so here is the Space Venom re-release from the 2-pack with Mania. Yeah, so these are both bigger characters. You know, Thunder's a real tall, kind of Amazon-y woman from the future, and Space Venom is Space Venom. So they're bigger characters. You can see how he kind of scales with them. And I think it looks pretty decent. Now, Sentry here is supposed to be in the MCU in the Thunderbolts movie, even though the actor just dropped out. But, at the time of recording this. But, here he's with some MCU characters. Anyway, on the left we have Jan Rog from Captain Marvel. And on the right we have the final swingsuit version of Spider-Man from Spider-Man No Way Home. Both of these figures have been reviewed, as have those other two figures that I just showed. And, yeah, I also have reviewed the next couple figures. That's right, it's more Spider characters. What can I say? That's most of the Marvel I collect is Spider characters. Spiders, symbiotes, and the Sentry. So, on the left we have the Spider-Man Beyond Ben Reilly Spider-Man, and on the right Mania from the 2-pack that Space Venom was from. That kind of shows him with just like a standard comic book adult here. You can see that he is much beefier than Reilly, and a little taller. And then kind of a young woman here, teenager-y kind of age. And I think he looks pretty good with her too. So yeah, the Sentry is going to scale well with other Hasbro Marvel Legends. But I do want to show him with a Build-A-Figure. I know Space Venom was originally a Build-A-Figure, but I want to show him with an official Build-A-Figure. So here he is with SPDR. She's kind of been my go-to Build-A-Figure for these reviews recently. And she's also a pretty recent review. They look pretty good. Yeah, she's a big, tall mech Evangelion Spider-Girl here. You know, I think Sentry here looks pretty damn good with other Hasbro Marvel Legends. So, you're going to have a good time with that. He'll look great in your collection. And speaking of looking great, these little accessories are going to help him look even better. So you have the bob head and fist hands, and then when you swap them out, you get void head and trigger hands. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, this is a big spoiler, the Sentry's arch enemy, the Void, is just the Sentry. It's his other personality. He feels like he doesn't deserve everything he's gotten from his heroism. He doesn't deserve to be seen as a hero, and that kind of reflects as this monstrosity. And at first I thought this might be... Well, at first I thought it was a Void head, and then I thought it was like a battle damage head, because there have been times where the Sentry's been blown apart and reformed. But if you look at the back here, that's not flames. That's like arthropod limbs. I mean, it looks like there are flames at the end, but that's like creepy little legs. That's tendrils. So this is definitely the Void. And they tried really hard on this Void head. I liked it. I almost wish they would have gone a little more skeletal with it. To be completely honest. But I do like it. This is why I almost wish I had a second version of him, so I could display one with the bob head and one with the Void head. And they gave him these hands. Why? The last Sentry figure, they gave a holding hand and a fist hand, and that was all he had. But it didn't give him anything to hold. So I was like, why would you do that? That's like a pet peeve of mine. Holding hands that are not interchangeable with nothing to hold. I hate that. Interchangeable holding hands with nothing to hold is a bit different, but these are specifically trigger hands for guns. I feel like they wanted to give him open hands, but they didn't have any open hands they liked, so they gave him trigger hands. That's purely speculation, but trigger hands? That makes zero fucking sense. That makes no goddamn sense. Why does he have these hands? I don't know. But yeah, this is supposed to be him now as the Void. But to be completely honest, you know, maybe I don't need a second version of him. The trigger hands throw me off. And the head is cool, but it would be better on a different body. Like maybe one of these that's like black and red. The same body but black and red. But I gotta say, that's not a Void. This is a Void. Yeah. I don't know if you saw my last action figure haul, but I showed these both off in it. And if you did, you might have been wondering where the Void was. But here he is. I was kind of just waiting to show him for accessories. So this Void is based off my favorite appearance of the Void, which is in Siege, the Siege event, towards the end, right before he forces Thor to do something, and right after he does something to Thor's home. Anyway, so if you want a Void, you can get this Build-A-Figure, which he looks really cool with. Maybe that would be a cool thing to do. Is like have my Hyperion mold Sentry, and then this guy next to it, and then this guy, like he's changing into the Void. That would be a cool display if you wanted to do that. And this guy's much thinner than the Hyperion one, so it could be like he's going skeletal, like he's getting emaciated, but then he becomes the Void. God, I love the Void. And he'll probably be my next review, probably. So keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, that's that. So what are my final thoughts on the Hasbro Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive Sentry figure? In all honesty, he could be a good bit better. Like, he's fine, he's kind of basic, but trigger hands? The Void head is fine. That's a good touch. That is a completely new part. And you know, when you get these single release exclusive figures that don't have a Build-A-Figure part, they can often have better sculpts and some more accessories. And I feel like we maybe got that specifically just in the Void head, but his paint apps aren't anything special except for on the head. On this head, they look pretty good, and on the Void head, they're pretty good. But on his body, they're almost non-existent. There's like a little bit on the belt. And that's it. It's single color, and I think it's pretty much all plastic color. It's not even actually paint. But I mean, I kind of get it on the yellow. Like, that could be an artistic choice on the yellow, but on the blue, I don't know. It seems like they worked really hard on the head sculpts, and then kind of just hand-waved the rest of him. The cape is good, and the sculpt is nice, but he just needs a little more oomph to him. I feel like if this came out after the Thunderbolts movie and the Sentry had gained some notoriety and popularity, then maybe they would have tried a little harder. Maybe he would have had some cool Void hands instead of just recycled trigger hands that don't make any sense. Now that would be cool, the Void head and 2 Void hands. You know what? One goddamn second. This is not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. These are the Void's hands. Ugh. What do them pegs look like? That's the same fucking peg. Oh my god, he looks like a Looney Tune. Fuck, I'm gonna die. Oh my god, I'm actually gonna die. Okay, let's... That's funny. Let's use one of the Void's open hands. Oh, that looks a bit more anime. That one's actually kind of neat. It's still big, but imagine this, but the size for him. That's what we effing needed. Oh my, the more I look at this, the more I like it. I cannot lie to you on that front, my friends. The more I look at him with the void hand, the more daddy likey. But yeah, I mean, he's not fragile or anything, he's just underwhelming. And maybe that's just because I love the Sentry, but I mean, look at some of these other recent releases from them. We have this beautiful final swingsuit Spider-Man. Many people called it one of the best figures of 2023. And they released it far after the movie was even relevant anymore. Like, this came out towards the end of that year. I mean, holy shit. It's got an insane amount of texture. Like, all these great extra articulation cuts. Like, that articulation is amazing. And look at all this great stuff they gave him. He has toe articulation, for crying out loud. Those beans flop around. I mean, look at that. This guy almost seems like he's from a couple years ago compared to some of these other recent releases. It's just, I'm not seeing a lot of improvement here. Once again, the heads are really cool. And then the rest of him is just the rest of him. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll be seeing you all next time. Bye for now.